They stated Chrissy would ride for Jim. In any case, Sis will not be riding today. She's begging in the center of traffic. Paramedics were on their knees, crying uncontrollably. You had to take her off the sidewalk, but why? Jim Jones was just, a couple of hours ago, carried from his studio in handcuffs, humiliated and exposed. And you know who said it? Cameron's parents? No, not the media. Not even the relatives of the police personnel. Instead of leaking a clip, they leaked freaking voice notes, deleted ones, from a documentary. CCTV footage captured at Chrissy's hotel. She had no idea everything had already fallen in. The burner account is being credited. It looks like a wildfire. And then it becomes even worse. The voice in the video wasn't just anyone. It was someone too close to Jim. Chrissy's remarks make it seem like the relationship is still ongoing. This is not a hip-hop drama or a love story. This level of treachery was unheard of. At the moment, the internet's in chaos with Chrissy and Harlem exploding. She whispered under her breath. A breath that made even the cops feel cold. She told me this would happen if I ever swore. But only after everyone felt that there was no way things could get worse, things took a terrible turn. Chrissy told people that she was being followed, not by paparazzi, not by fans, but by what insiders now call many private surveillance units. Accounts state that Cameron's cousin, once employed by a reputable private security firm and now a politician, is monitoring Chrissy's movements for non-desirable causes. One anonymous source even said, "They're not just watching her, they're waiting for something." No one knows what that something is. But Chrissy's terrified reaction, when she was seen in New Jersey at a gas station, shaking hands, pacing back and forth, whispering on the phone, told the whole story. And this is where it really begins. Cameron's aunt is losing her mind. The same woman who once argued with Chrissy in the early 2000s, after a backstage incident at the BET Awards, exposed a handwritten letter to a gossip site. In it, she claimed Chrissy was the one who told police about Jim's secret meeting with his old gang, those governed by federal surveillance. If this surveillance is accurate, then this isn't just betrayal, it's war. Let's pause. This isn't tabloid gossip. The letter is dated, signed, and written. One phrase burned through the page. Chrissy was constantly conscious that the streets were built for Jim, and she's performing with the cleaning crew to keep her own skin safe. Blogs went berserk, and the streets shouted, "Chrissy, the informant." The story went viral. One post on Black Twitter read, "As if El Chapo, the girl snitched and then wept on Instagram Live. I don't believe it," said another. She wept excessively, which is guilt, not sadness. Now about that damaged video. After the letter was rejected, Cameron's family was freed. They called the video "The Final Straw." Changed to look like a Netflix documentary trailer, it starts with security footage. Jim in a Manhattan rooftop lounge, seen bringing a mysterious envelope to a hooded figure. Chrissy is silently relaxing. Then, she leaves at the end of the video. After 5 minutes, observing an Uber, anxiously scanning the block. Then, FBI jackets, Jim, blazing lights, handcuffs. But this is where the cousin who uploaded the video added a caption. This is what was distorted and not seen by the world. She led him there, and she knew it. Is there a setup theory at work here? It started to surpass YouTube, Reddit, even TikTok. One popular thread explained it like a movie. Scene 1. Chrissy convinces Jim to make amends with his elder. Scene 2. She inadvertently suggests a time and place, knowing the feds are already monitoring. Scene 3. She shows up crying, aware people knew what was about to happen. Even Mona Scott has chosen not to discuss several difficult scenarios. There was a story from the past that said, in certain cases, silence can safeguard the culpable. Advocates think that was meant for Chrissy. Let's talk about the alleged financial paper trails. Unverified rumors claim Chrissy opened a new offshore account 2 days ago. A cool deposit was made before Jim's arrest. Who sent $250,000? A shell company owned by one of Cameron's family. Interestingly, nobody questioned it. One person even posted a screenshot of the alleged transfer captioned, "She made money." Her boyfriend, in exchange for money and power. People spiraled into narratives asserting Chrissy works for the government. According to some, she was duped. Others say Cameron's family knew Jim was abandoning Chrissy for someone younger. So, in a hurry, she made a deal. The truth? It's messier than anyone imagined. Insiders claim Jim is now refusing to answer her calls while she's incarcerated. Yes, straight up, he left her. The same woman who helped him build comebacks, fight disputes, and stood beside him through 12 near breakups. Even now, after everything, he won't answer her calls. As Chrissy's court date draws near, she's been seen attending church services twice, wearing nighttime sunglasses for a week, and walking with her head down. People close to her say she isn't sleeping, isn't eating, constantly checking her phone, as though anticipating yet another startling discovery. And just when we thought the story was over, Cameron's sister jumped in. "You heard right," she said, while posting a black and white image of Chrissy and Jim. No caption. Just a heartbroken emoji and the phrase, "You knew better." That post received over 80,000 likes in less than 42 hours. The comments? Uninterrupted chaos. Shouts for Chrissy to show up. She has a few professions that are protected by clean people. A full-length reunion program is set to air. Chrissy was famous for everything. The woman with a tough exterior, the one who survived the wave of love and hip-hop. Her turbulent relationship with Jim seemed invincible. But at home, the situation was anything but perfect. The public never noticed the late-night arguments or the murmured fears. She had been there for Jim for years, through legal troubles, street partnerships, and the ongoing risks hovering over him. But the moment those handcuffs snapped around his wrists, it was as if the universe shattered. The life she thought she had came crashing down, not because Jim was arrested, but because of what she didn't know. What had been kept hidden from her. The very people she thought she could trust had become active participants. The cameras were flashing, social media lit up, rumors spread. Cameron's relatives, the same people Jim once trusted, were now the ones dumping lethal proof. Nobody was prepared. Hours after Jim's arrest, the revelations began pouring in. Private conversations, hazy videos. In one, Jim is clearly seen having a heated conversation with a woman named Anne. Plans are discussed. Not the life he gained, but something darker. Revelations came like a tidal wave. And Chrissy? Left behind. She was drowning. The phone buzzed nonstop, message after message, each one exposing the same shocking truth. Cameron's family had all the details, and now so did everyone else. Chrissy felt betrayed, and unlike before, her family was now gone. She tried to hold it together, but the leaks didn't stop. Eventually, the tears came. The mask of composure fell. Media and the public couldn't get enough. Twitter, Instagram, each platform exploded. Some showed sympathy, others pointed fingers. The world was hungry for answers, and Chrissy was left facing a question she never wanted to ask. How much of Jim's life did she truly understand? She had previously lived with him. Surprisingly, Jim was thought to be a potential suspect in the growing crisis. His arrest was just the beginning. Then came the breakdown of Chrissy's life, built on shaky foundations. But things weren't as simple as determining whether Jim had participated in what caused Cameron to act. The family refrained from telling M what the actual cause of the leak was. Chrissy wasn't just having trouble coping. With Jim's name no longer in use, she was struggling. Deeply. The day after she had finished her own visit to the lawyer's office, Chrissy unexpectedly walked into the sterile office's waiting area, burdened by situations that were straining her shoulders. But the attorney's subsequent remarks would change the entire story's trajectory. "There's something you need to know," he said quietly, barely above a murmur. "We've been keeping an eye on Cameron's family members for some time. They've been gathering proof against Jim, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. What you don't know is this: the evidence released to the public was never meant for widespread use. It's part of something far more substantial." Chrissy's heart raced. Her thoughts spun with questions. Who was yanking the strands behind this chaos? What were Cameron's family truly trying to achieve? And most importantly, was Jim the man she thought he was? Or had she been blinded by love all along? As the years went by, Chrissy felt increasingly stressed. The rumors were growing more frantic, the frequency of leaks rising. She tried to keep calm, but it was hard. In spite of everything, one thing remained constant. The feeling that something was missing. That lingering sensation followed her until one night. Late at night, Chrissy was rummaging through her phone again when she received a message from an unnamed number. The information was brief, the tone urgent. You don't realize how bad things are. Her hands shook as she clicked the link. What she saw left her stunned. A brand new video, never seen before, had surfaced. But this time it wasn't Jim on the screen. It was someone she'd never imagined. Jim was surrounded by his closest friends and coworkers, in a conversation with Cameron. Clearly the talk was serious. Jim was never supposed to fall first. It had all been a calculated move. One that, if successful, could destroy an entire empire. Jim had worked hard to build it, but Chrissy had unknowingly been caught in the bloodiest part of it all, never realizing the games being played right in front of her. As the screen went black and her reality emerged, Chrissy fell apart once more. This wasn't just a scandal involving her. It was one where she was at the center. Watching that last video shattered everything she believed about Jim, about her life, and even about herself. The truth was considerably darker than she could have imagined. She hadn't realized Jim was part of a larger, riskier game, carefully organized by people she had trusted. In the midst of everything, Chrissy found herself caught between devotion and betrayal. And the demand for answers was rising. The leaked video showed Cameron being suddenly approached by a stranger. The man who had called Jim his brother was laughing with one of Jim's closest friends. The conversation was casual on the surface, but the danger was undeniable. They weren't discussing business. They were planning a collapse far greater than Chrissy had anticipated. And in the barely perceptible background, there she was. Unconscious of the seething chaos surrounding her, Chrissy had been the loyal girlfriend, unaware of the underlying motives. As she watched the video again, her mind swirled with unanswered questions. How long had she missed the signs? Did Cameron's family plan this betrayal from the beginning? And what role did she truly play? She had unknowingly served as a means to an end. The fact that she was part of a larger game was something she hadn't realized. Then, the texts began, pouring in. The video's popularity exploded. Gossip websites and social media platforms lit up. Everyone was uttering Chrissy's name. But it wasn't the support she had hoped for. The comment sections were filled with accusations, judgment, and hate. People asked if she had known about Jim's actions. How long had she kept quiet? Chrissy could hardly see the screen through her tears. The world wasn't just watching the scandal, it was watching her. And in the midst of the chaos, the one person she needed the most, Jim, was in jail. His silence abandoned her, but Chrissy was not one to give up. Even alone and down, she had been through worse. She had spent her life in the public eye under thorough analysis. And if anyone knew how to survive, it was a woman who had built a career on reality TV while fiercely guarding her private life. Now that private life was on full display in the most explosive way imaginable. The first step was clear. She needed to find out everything. In the middle of the night, Chrissy made a decision that would change everything. She made a call, a move straight from Cameron's playbook, one that could either save her or destroy her. Cameron wasn't just anyone. He was powerful and he had his own agenda. But Chrissy felt she had nothing left to lose. If she wanted the truth, she had to go to the source. The phone call was uncomfortable. Every time there was a pause, it felt like a mine waiting to explode. Her voice faltered at first, but quickly she found her power. "I know what you've done," she said. "I know you've been behind the leaked videos. I'd like to know why you're lying." The process of doing this to Jim took a long time. At the other end of the line, in addition to Fen, Chrissy thought he was about to. After hanging up, Cameron's voice could be heard, low and measured. "You don't get it," he went on. "Chrissy, it's not about Jim. You're the focus, not Jim. With your loyalty, you are the one who, for so long, has stood in the way. You've been protecting him, offering protection for someone without knowing the complete story about him." Chrissy felt the blood drain from her face. What does Jim's inner face mean? Cameron continued. Too deep. He's been using ropes, executing moves with people you don't know. You've been blinded by love, but it's too late now. There's no getting out of it. Chrissy's grasp on the phone tightened. So what? You believe that you will harm both him and us? No, Cameron replied coldly. I'm not going to release something that will harm anyone. The reality is that Jim has been... The call ended. Too much time had been spent in hiding. Chrissy was abruptly left standing in the middle of the room, her thoughts spinning. Cameron acknowledged everything, but there was more to it than that. He told her there was a greater plan, and she wasn't going to sit idly by while everyone in her immediate vicinity destroyed the life she had fought for. In the days that followed, Chrissy looked more closely into Cameron's past, his connections, and his real motivations. The reasons behind her gathering the puzzle's components and the items she discovered left her reeling. Family, in addition to several other significant figures, had tugged at the threads. Jim was used as a backstage pawn in a broader game. It wasn't just about street beef or old grudges. This was about financial dominance and a power struggle spanning multiple companies. Then, Chrissy's truth was made public, something that would totally change everything. The evidence released to the public, texts, pictures, and videos, was a trick. They weren't just disclosing secrets about Chrissy and Jim. Those revelations were designed to break her, to make her question everything she knew. In order to save her life and her beloved, she had to act. Chrissy wasn't just heading out, she wasn't finished yet. She wouldn't allow Cameron or anyone else to take things without a fight. As the drama continues to unfold, we're only beginning to investigate. Will Chrissy play a role in this astonishing tale? Will she ultimately admit her involvement in Jim's confinement? Or is this where it ends? There is no doubt, a breach of trust has occurred. This story is far from over. But we want to hear from you. Was Chrissy innocent at the time of the incident? Is she just an observer caught in a maze, or is something darker going on here? Please share your thoughts in the comments section below. Remember to hit the like button if you're as shocked by this turn of events as we are. Don't miss the upcoming updates. Make sure to subscribe and activate the alert bell so you're the first to know when the next major drama unfolds. You know we've got everything under control, bringing you the unfiltered truth. Keep an eye on this space. If you thought this was wild, just wait. The real puzzle is just getting started.